Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is time for another sketch session here in the Foxy studio. Today is Tuesday, February 24th, and we are focusing on memory keeping. Right now, in the month of February, we've been just focusing on capturing memories in the form of drawings, doodles, comics, that sort of thing. And we have focused on a couple different things throughout the month. So we started with places, then we focused on people, then we focused on objects, things, treasures. And now for this final week, we are going to focus on experiences. We're focusing on like moments in time that were experiences. You know what an experience is. But I thought I last time I was on, I drew a partial comic, and I finished it in the meantime. So I thought I'd go ahead and share it with you before we jump into the new one. So I'm going to flip to my overhead camera, my little thing in there. So this was the wedding shoes, aka the stripper heels comic. So started off with significant height difference. Wedding shoes, I knew I wanted something super tall to try to make up the gap so our photos wouldn't look super weird. And I did find a super tall pair of glittery gold platform heels that were like 8 inches. They were so tall. Bought them online, ordered them without trying them on because I was brave. Tried them on, felt like a newborn giraffe, but I practiced in them before the wedding. I really worked on it because I was very stubborn. And day of the wedding, I successfully did it. I didn't fall. I didn't break a heel. I didn't break an ankle. I didn't take them off. Even when I was dancing, I was super proud of myself. And then the sort of conclusion is I never wore them again because who would? They're crazy tall. But about a year and a half later, sweet baby puppy Summer got a hold of them during her teething time and destroyed them. So we had to throw them out. But that's the whole story. That's the wedding heels. So I just thought I would share that with you, and then get a nice fresh piece of paper, and we can begin. So with this week, we're talking about experiences, and one of the experiences that comes to mind, or one of the sort of genres that comes to mind, is vacations. Vacations are a really great, experience. They're not exactly your norm, so they don't really fit into any of the other categories as neatly. But obviously, there's so many great stories that one picks up while on vacation. So I'm going to throw my pencil a little bit. But I want to share a story from Australia, from Sydney, Australia. Here. I'm going to call this Battle of the Goals. Battle of the Goals. This was Sydney, Australia. And this would have been 2019. How do I tell this story? Well, there's the question. Here, let me see. One of our final days in Australia, I wanted seafood. And I wanted to sit outside. Outside on the quay. What's it called? Let me look it up really quick. The Sydney Opera House is where? Yeah, so that would have been on the quay. It was somewhere over there. Where was it? It doesn't super matter, but it was right on the water. We were warned about the gulls. And given a spray bottle to defend ourselves. That's enough to get started. Playing around with some different sizes of our boxes. Hey there, Linda. Good morning. How was your weekend? How was the robot show? Oh, they were having problems. I'm sorry. That sucks. Well, did you get up to anything else interesting this weekend? Ton of snow? Yeah, you guys got hammered up there. The Northeast really got it this time. And more to come, my goodness. My perspective is all kinds of messed up here. I'll go fill that scene in just a little bit more later. see if I can draw a hat. Oh my gosh, this is so slow. Okay. Pardon me and my nose. How am I going to solve this? I think, this is different from what we usually do. I'm actually thinking I'm going to end a little bit early just because I feel like I have some problem solving to figure out how I want to approach this, and I'm struggling to do it live, and you're just watching me think, which isn't the most exciting. So I think in the future, I need to have some rough ideas already roughed out so that I'm just doing the drawing during these sketch sessions. I'm still figuring out a lot of what I'm doing as I go. So forgive me for not having this one totally locked down, but we're learning. We're learning in real time. But thank you all very much for. I'll tell you the story. Let me do that. Let me at least round it out and tell you what this story is. So, basically, in Australia, in Sydney, we were out like at the quay by the Sydney Opera House. There's lots of shops, lots of restaurants right over there, and I wanted to have seafood because we're on the sea. I wanted seafood. And I wanted to sit outside because it was gorgeous and we were about to go back to winter. So I insisted that we sit outside. They warned us. There were signs everywhere. They were like, the gulls are aggressive here. And if they steal your food, we are not going to refund or get you new food. Okay. And we were like, cool. They give us a spray bottle so that we could deter the gulls. And then we proceeded to spend the rest of the meal. It was so much fun. Guarding our food from these extremely aggressive seagulls that were trying to dive bomb and take things off of our table. And like the table next to us, they got dive bombed, and there were fries flying everywhere. Seagulls were having a grand old time. We successfully protected our food the whole way. So it was one of those things that it was exactly as advertised. And it was so much fun. I felt like a cave person, just like fighting for my food against nature and against scavengers. Yeah, it was really, really fun. It was a fun experience. Definitely not for someone who wants a peaceful eating atmosphere, but that's the story that I'm trying to illustrate. So I'm trying to figure out how to like problem solve like angles, because we are like looking up at times and then the gulls are like looking down at us, and the action scenes and stuff. So I want to do it right. So that's why I'm not wanting to sit here and try to like push through here in this live moment. But that's the story that I'm trying to get down. So I'm also going to try to get some rough ideas down before our next sketch session. So that way I have a little bit more direction, I guess. Anywho, thank you all for joining me, for hanging out. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.